Earlier today, I spoke with Dr. Jeffrey Elder at the University Medical Center here in New Orleans. It's a Trauma One hospital very close to here. He specializes in emergency medicine. He had been on work all day long, went back home, was then called back in after the attack.
Were most of the injuries from the vehicle itself, or were there gunshots as well?
Yeah, so it was interesting because when you talk about injuries, you think of a blunt mechanism like a car crash, or penetrating trauma like a knife wound or a gunshot wound. And really, here we had both. Most of our patients were unfortunately suffering blunt trauma, so they'd been hit by the vehicle and had injuries to the abdomen, the chest, the head, and a lot of broken bones. We had a few patients, really the minority, that had gunshot wounds that were here.
This hospital is about 10 years old. It's really beautiful. Dr. Elder was also saying that this was the largest number of sick critical trauma patients that they've ever seen in such a short period of time. I met earlier today at that hospital with Pittsburgh area native Jeremy Sensky. Jeremy uses a specialized wheelchair. He was in New Orleans on vacation. He uses the wheelchair because he was in a car accident in 1999. He's paralyzed. I spoke to him. He was on Bourbon Street. He was struck directly by the truck in his legs in the wheelchair. He survived miraculously. I spoke to him earlier.
I think I got hit, and my body was just thrown onto the ground, and I just, for like a second, I don't remember that moment, but as soon as I hit the ground, I think I came right back awake. The first thing I remember when I hit the ground were the gunshots, and as soon as I heard the gunshots, I was thinking in my head that I would hope I was clear from the gunshots, and I thought that's kind of why I was on the ground. In my head, I thought, well, maybe I'm on the ground because of the people are shooting, and I was on the ground to get away from it.
So you heard shots? Did you see anything around you?
No, I didn't see anything. While I was hearing the shots, I was still like disoriented, and the whole time I was like pretty messed up. I really didn't know what was going on, and I was just glad that I didn't get shot. Like, I'm thinking the gunshots, I'm laying on the ground, I should be safe, and then my leg was messed up. I kept messing with my leg. I'm like trying to figure out what's wrong with my leg, and I saw this stuff around me, which was parts of my wheelchair. So I started scraping it, trying to find my phone. I really couldn't tell what was what, so I tried to get my phone. I wanted to use the phone. I was going to call my wife and tell her I was alive.
Your leg, you were bleeding.
I think that I was bleeding, but it was my leg was just broke, like in a bunch of different pieces.
There's a photograph taken from overhead where the truck is, and you're on the ground.
Yeah, and the truck was to my right.
So you heard shots? Did you see anything around you?
No, I didn't see anything. And I was screaming, help, 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 help. And finally a guy came over and said, listen, you're lucky to be alive. He said, many people aren't as lucky as you.
I heard that somebody put a mark on your forehead indicating you were alive.
Somebody came over and they put the number, a yellow X. And I asked, what does that mean? And they didn't tell me. But later on I found what it meant, because whenever they cared, what they did is, after a while, I'm not sure how long it was, the time was like forever. I mean, I felt like I was there forever. I was laying on my back, and there was a guy named Patrick. He was one of the cops that was dressed up in like the army fatigue color. And he eventually just stayed with me. After I told me I couldn't walk and I was paralyzed, he stayed with me. And I asked him what had happened. He said, we don't know, we're still trying to figure it out. And I said, was it just a drunk driver or something? Did someone blow up something? Because I didn't know. I still hadn't put two and two together that the truck had done anything really. And even though I had seen the truck, I never even thought that that's what had happened, because I was so out of it.
When did you learn that it was this person in a terror attack?
Today. They were talking about it, something about someone shooting a cop or something. I heard someone got shot by a cop, but no one called it a terror attack. And I kept asking people, like the nurses and doctors that were with me that night, and no one said it was a terror attack. And today I found out that it was a terror attack.
Does it make you angry?
Me personally, I'm gonna have a hard time probably coming back to Bourbon Street for a while. But I mean, I might. But I'm not. I don't, it is. My whole thing was, you should feel safe there, and hopefully, there was definitely things that were wrong. They didn't put up the stupid thing at the end of the road that I had to drive over my wheelchair. It's supposed to stop the cars. Wasn't up. So that was definitely a problem. Like, that thing that was supposed to be up was down. I drove over it. I had to get pushed over it, but it was only this tall, like 5 inches tall. Something
Yeah, they said it needed to be repaired or something.
Yeah, well, they should have repaired it before New Year's Eve.
Is there anything else you want people to know? I don't want to take up too much of your time.
I'm just happy to be alive, man. I don't want people to be afraid to go out and do things. I really don't. I mean, this could happen anytime, anywhere, but what are you going to do? Stop living your life?